I did tell you last week not to get your hopes up too high or start celebrating too soon about the demise of Jimmy Kimmel after he was suspended by ABC, whose parent company is Disney, after he spit on Charlie Kirk's grave. And because I just know how these things work, of course he returned to air last night and did not apologize.
I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind.
What we wanted is a correction and an apology for you to tell your brain-dead, ignorant audience that the shooter who assassinated Charlie Kirk is a far-left LGBTQ extremist.
You understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't...
Which is why you were cracking jokes about it later that day or the next day?
I don't think there's anything funny about it. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make. But I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger,
You're sorry?
Get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way.
And you're sorry?
I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't.
He represents the far-left lunatics who have been celebrating Charlie's assassination and coming up with more people on the conservative side who they want dead. Charlie Kirk's good friend and the producer of his podcast, Andrew Colvett, posted, "Not good enough, Jimmy. It's simple. Here's what you need to say. I'm sorry for saying the shooter was MAGA. He was not. He was of the left. I apologize to the Kirk family for lying. Please accept my sincere apology. I will do better. I was wrong." And Exhibit 5,472,384, that 99% of the political violence in this country comes from the left. A liberal lunatic did a drive-by shooting at his local ABC affiliate because Jimmy Kimmel's show was suspended last week.
Tonight, authorities confirming they arrested a suspect accused in yesterday's shooting at KXTV, Sacramento's ABC affiliate. 64-year-old Aníbal Hernández Santana taken into custody after investigators matched a vehicle that witnesses say believed to be a white hatchback, leading officers to River Park.
And after just a brief look on his Twitter feed, it became crystal clear that this was not just a random event. He was, as I said, as we all knew, a liberal lunatic, who, by the way, was later released on bail, just set back out on the street after doing a drive-by shooting to try to avenge the suspension of a talk show host. But then Kash Patel, the diversity hire FBI director, actually did something for a change and had the FBI arrest him on federal charges, noting that the FBI has taken into custody the suspect linked to the shooting at ABC 10 Sacramento station lobby under a federal hold for interference with licensed broadcasts. So they had to really go through the books in order to try to find something to get him. Because, of course, this was in California, where you can do just about any crime you want to, and you'll be let back out on the street later that day. Bill Maher noted at the Emmys a few days after Charlie was killed that there was zero mention of him or political violence, zero reference, zero hints at what had happened. And here he is, again, the voice of reason of the Democrat Party.
I mean, at the Emmys, would it have killed someone to get up there, since they all want to talk about their politics? Would it kill somebody to get up there?
And gun violence all the time. That's one of their big things. They want to, repeal the Second Amendment.
Not give a speech about how much...
Not, lock up dangerous criminals and keep them in jail and put mentally ill people into mental institutions, or just stop the incessant satanic propaganda campaign that they're waging against conservatives. But continue.
Not give a speech about how much they like Charlie Kirk, just to say we had a political assassination this week, and that's wrong, and they would have been booed off the stage because he was on the wrong team. So you're not even allowed to say that. Can you imagine if a left-wing person was assassinated that week? The whole show would have been about that.
So the hot topic on all the late-night talk show hosts this week have been how President Trump and the Republicans are the ones who are trying to eliminate freedom of speech. Here's Jake Tapeworm on Seth Meyers' show.
All right, Jimmy Kimmel, he's a friend of both of ours.
Yeah.
You know him, I know him. We know he's a good person. Obviously, this news is very exciting. But what was your original take on how this all went down starting last week?
Very exciting that he still has a job, of course.
I mean, I thought it was pretty much the most direct infringement by the government on free speech that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Really, because top of my mind would be Douglas Mackey, the Twitter user who went by the name of Ricky Vaughn, who posted this meme joking that Democrats could skip the line by just texting in their vote for Hillary. And then 5 years later, as soon as the Biden administration came into power, then they indicted him for supposed election interference and got a kangaroo court to convict him and then sentenced him to 7 months in prison for posting this meme. Thankfully, an appeals court threw out the conviction, and he just got an official judgment of acquittal. But this after hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of legal fees, and during the court case, the prosecution couldn't find a single person who actually texted the phone number. Nobody thought that this was actually real, but the jury, being him a conservative, decided to use the lawfare tactic of persecuting your political enemies and found him guilty. Guilty of posting a meme 5 years earlier. Or how the Biden administration was secretly pressuring the big tech platforms to censor and ban users for posting the truth about COVID-19 or the vaccines, or asking questions that you're not allowed to ask or you weren't allowed to ask back then, and about the 2020 election integrity, the outcome of the election, the integrity of those trusted electronic voting machines. And so, surprisingly, YouTube just announced that they would be reinstating the channels that they banned for talking about COVID and talking about the 2020 presidential election. It's actually a miracle that my channel was able to survive through that tumultuous time. But if you're a regular viewer, you know that I have perfected the art of making my message crystal clear without having to beat people over the head with bluntness about what it is that I'm trying to say.
They want me to think the N-word is wrong, but I'm not gonna play along. Nigga!
Then, of course, there was that one time when all the big tech platforms banned the seated president of the United States after pressure from Democrats. And you may recall that Kamala Harris was calling for him to be banned even before the mostly peaceful protest at the Capitol on January 6th, literally leading the charge during the 2020 election back in September of 2019, saying that President Trump's Twitter account should be suspended. And despite ABC putting him back on the air, two big media conglomerates that own local affiliates in many major markets, Nexstar Media Group and Sinclair, both said that they still are not putting that show back on the air. So good for them. California Governor Gavin Newsom, who's campaigning already for 2028 presidential run, was on Stephen Colbert's show to further fear-monger to the mentally enslaved morons who tune into that show last night.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that.
He really means it. Means he's really making it up.
In the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red, what's happening in this country, and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is.
Back to their old favorite fear-mongering lines. President Trump's gonna cancel the next election and stay in power indefinitely. But speaking of loser comedians, Theo who has a very popular podcast, who has done sit-down interviews with J.D. Vance and President Trump, bent over for the left last night, cucking to them after the Department of Homeland Security used one of his video clips, which has become a meme, about somebody getting deported into a video compilation showing the criminal illegal aliens getting deported.
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
That's the clip, and then the Department of Homeland Security added this and then posted it on their official accounts on social media. 2 million deportations in 250 days. 1.6 million self-deported. They already left because they didn't want to get arrested. And 400,000 who have been rounded up.
They simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore.
Bye. So he responded to that saying, yo, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, I didn't approve to be used in this. I know you know my address, so send a check. And please take this down. And please keep me out of your banger deportation videos. When it comes to immigration, my thoughts and heart are a lot more nuanced than this video allows. Oh, so more nuanced than wanting criminal illegal aliens? And not just the ones who have broken into our country and are leeching off of our tax dollars, but the ones who have committed countless other crimes, who the Biden administration then just let back on the streets after they were arrested for those crimes to then commit more crimes. Way to go, Theo. And if you go troll him in the comment section on his podcast, be sure to tell him that Mark Dice says hello. And if you enjoy watching my videos and you want to support my work, click the Buy Me a Coffee link down in the description below or the pinned comment. It's a great way to tip your favorite content creator instead of using a super thanks or a super chat, because YouTube takes like 30 or 40% of that. Buy Me a Coffee, much better feature. So click the link in the description below, head on over there, and check it out.